Welcome back, everybody, to Forever United TV, your evening update show. Everything Manchester United packed into one show, bringing you all the news from this late afternoon. And there is plenty again, and there is some major news which has been brought up by Ben Jacobs. I want to get right into first of all. You can see it all over the title. You knew as soon as any goalkeeper news was going to come about, I in particular would be all over it. And it's the man again himself, Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa. All the details on where this report has come from, in depth, coming up in this show. We've also got talks on Jadon Sancho, talks on Rasmus Hjlund as well, everything else that is going on with Manchester United, of course, as well, and a very important update, which I'm going to talk to you about regarding Marcus Rashford and Barcelona. Now, that's coming up. I'll get into detail a little bit later on in the show and where that's come from, because that could be significant as well. So let's get everything going. Let's kickstart the show. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Thank you for tuning in earlier on, by the way, on the Bryan Mbeumo story that I was talking about. I touched on it in the morning, and then I touched on it even more at lunchtime because I was annoyed. And I knew that this wasn't the case regarding Bryan Mbeumo's wages. I've got actually a Bryan Mbeumo update on this show alone, so do you know what? I'll leave that till then. We'll get into the Bryan Mbeumo stuff. But cheers for watching the content throughout the day as well, everybody. Keeping you completely up to date, of course, always. And yeah, right, let's get into everything that is happening Manchester United this late afternoon. The biggest story is Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa again. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen me all over this when we first heard about this. So Manchester United have been in touch with Emiliano Martinez and his representation for the last 6 months. They were even looking into buying the Argentinian number 1 in January, but obviously there was no way out of Andre now. There was no way around it with the finances that we had. They wanted to wait it out, see out the rest of the season with Andre Onana in goal, and then look to maybe trying to make a deal happen in the summer transfer window. Now we're there. And there's a lot pending on, obviously, outgoings and Manchester United's finances, like we've touched on throughout every show so far. I think while I've been here on this holiday, it is important that Manchester United move players on. This is going to be pending on what Manchester United do as well with the outgoings. But here is obviously the report, first of all, just to give you clarity on everything that has been said, and then we can get into it. But this has come from Ben Jacobs, which says Manchester United will move for Emiliano Martinez. If they get him, he will be their first choice. The feeling is that he will leave Aston Villa this summer. Now, Aston Villa's predicament and situation. Now, if you remember back to when I first broke the Emiliano Martinez news a couple of weeks ago, I was very clear on my opinion of it. Love it. Can't see it happening, no. Didn't see how Aston Villa were going to be able to, would be open to letting Emiliano Martinez go. Now, since then, I've done some reports, and a few Aston Villa fans, in fact, did message me back saying, we are struggling with financial fair play, PSR. And I'm like, I didn't see that. And I'm looking at, you sold John Duran in January. I'm thinking, surely you can get past it with that. But no, if you have been watching the news closely, then you would have seen the story that came up today, this morning. If you haven't, this is what it was. There are three teams in big trouble with UEFA for financial fair play regulation breaches. Now that Aston Villa have been continuously in European competitions for the last 3 seasons, Conference League first season, Champions League second season, and now going into the Europa League next season because of the way they finished in the Premier League this season, they have fallen short for the first time with financial fair play. UEFA's rules and FFP is different to Premier League's PSR, so just need to clarify that and get that straight. But Aston Villa's situation, them, Chelsea and Barcelona in bigger trouble because it's their second breach of the rules within financial fair play. Villa's and Chelsea's first ones. So they are literally, they're cutting it fine right now, Aston Villa. And I'm guessing with it being very similar, well, not completely the same with the Premier League's PSR. If they're struggling with financial fair play, they can't be too far away from PSR. And Aston Villa, with not getting Champions League this season, are now looking like they're going to have to sell players. And Emiliano Martinez is one that is hot property right now. Now, we have also heard that Emiliano Martinez is open to moving to Manchester United as well. So from the players' side of things, yes. From Aston Villa's side, probably yes in terms of selling him. So the player, the selling club, it's a both yes from them two. The biggest snag is what Aston Villa wants, price-wise, with him only just signing a new contract. And of course, if Manchester United can move enough players on to raise the funds to buy a goalkeeper, because like we said on the morning show, it is the 2 10s, the 9, then the 8, and then everything else after that is a bonus for Manchester United in terms of what comes in this summer. But if there was a goalkeepers list, the word is from Manchester United, Emiliano Martinez is right at the top of it. We have been in communications with him and his representatives for at least 6 months now. So that is the full update on that. And Emiliano Martinez he would be an absolute prize signing for Manchester United this transfer window. He is obviously suspended for the first 3 games due to him trying to dismantle Rasmus Hjlund in that last game of the season. I've seen a great comment in the early section of the live chat. Keep them coming in, everybody. That Emiliano Martinez will still have a better record, missing the first 3 games than Andre Onana, even if he wasn't playing in them. But look, to have someone like that, a World Cup winner at Manchester United, that would be absolute gold. That really would. That would be my number 1 straight away. Now, I've said before, and I just said a moment ago again, that is my number 1 goalkeeper choice. I think he's in the top 5 in the world, and I do think he has that presence. And if you're looking for leadership throughout your team, if Manchester United did indeed, which we are looking like we are getting, so check this out. You get Mbeumo over the line, you've got Cunha in already, you get the number 9. If that's Gykeres, holy lula. Seriously, you're talking like everyone going into meltdown mode, in panic about what Manchester United are actually doing. Then you get an 8. I don't know who the 8 is going to be yet. That's the only area that I'm uncertain about at the moment, without any real sources saying anything significant about Man United's hunt for a number 8. Just what we might miss out on. The likes of Edison, obviously Joe Bellingham leaving. The only one with any note really is the possibility of Gonçalves from Sporting, who fetches a decent price tag already. So it's hard at the moment without selling players, but you imagine you've got the likes of Lenny Yoro, Matheus de Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, Eden Heaven, these centre-backs, Harry Maguire, like the leadership qualities in that back line in terms of our centre-backs. With Emiliano Martinez behind them, you buy an 8, you've then got your 10s, and then you've got a number 9 in front of that. The spine of Manchester United's side would have been completely ripped out, a la Predator style, and then completely replaced with a Terminator spine. Full-on metal skeleton, absolute solid, unbreakable. That's what it would be. I just came up with that then. I thought that was quite good, actually, using my film analogies going on there and everything. But yeah, that's how I would see Manchester United's team going forward. It would be a completely different animal altogether. And do you know what? Half of me looks at it and goes, Dreamland, absolutely no chance. And then there's half of me that says, with the way that things are going, and how I've been surprised already this transfer window, maybe, just maybe, if United sell enough, then we are in the realms of being able to make this happen. And that is the big thing. That's it. That's where Manchester United now, if you are going to be serious and say to everybody you're making significant changes, these types of signings and players leaving that we're talking about would really hit the mark 100%. So that's where we're up to with Emiliano Martinez and what's happening with him. It is significant updates. It's come from Ben Jacobs, so you're talking a reliable source here. He's talked about the Aston Villa side of things, but I will reiterate it again and just be very, very clear, just so nobody comes in on me and shouts it out, saying that we were going to get him. Look, United want him. They will get him if they can. And the can comes with selling players and having the finances in place to make it happen. That's it. Nothing else. Villa will sell. Emiliano Martinez will come. United want him. It's all about the price. It's all about United being able to afford it. And obviously, you've still got Andre Onana there. And it's going to be a pretty expensive number 1 and number 2 if that is the case. But like I've said before, if United do sell Bayende, if United do sell Vitek, you could fetch in a little bit of money for them two alone. Then you're looking at a substantial first down payment for a goalkeeper. That even if Aston Villa wanted to have it in 2 payments, say for instance they wanted 40 million, which is like the price tag that's been doing the rounds, you might be able to get it cheaper. I don't know, but let's just say it is 40 million, and you wanted that in 2 instalments. You could easily raise the 20 million of the first with a couple of sales through fringe players at Manchester United this summer. So I feel like this is doable for United. I think we can get the deal done. I think there is a real effort and an interest in getting this deal done from United, but it is down the pecking order. So yes, wanted to big this up and big this news up because I think it would be significant. And again, like I said, this would make people sit up off their seats, stand up off their seats, and take notice of Manchester United. If they're not doing already, which I'd be surprised if they wasn't, because United are really making waves in this transfer window right now. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what actually comes next. Right, quickly, just on everything else, just going to do a quick roundup of other news before we move on. Also, I've had a couple of little bits come in that I just want to read through right now. First one on the situation with Manchester United chasing down Victor Gykeres. Manchester United have upped the ante in their pursuit of Victor Gykeres after head coach Ruben Amorim has made it clear to the Old Trafford hierarchy that he is desperate to seal a reunion with the Sporting star ahead of the first full season at the helm. Now that is very similar to what we said last night, but someone's added the word desperate in there as well. And I bigged up the whole Ruben wants Victor Gykeres last night on the show. I made it clear that he was the #1 target. He is now pushing this move ahead. All this is, in terms of this report that's just come out now, is more and more people, different sources saying the same thing. It's starting to spread. And that usually is a sign that something could be cooking in the background. Now, I know for certain Manchester United want Victor Gykeres. It's just a case of Ruben, I feel, convincing him, because I don't think Manchester United on their own are going to have the power to do this. Victor Gykeres is a player that I feel wants bigger and better things. I think there is a connection between him and Ruben Amorim, which is going to help everything go forward here with Manchester United if we are going to get him in. Right. The first report that we talked about earlier on Bryan Mbeumo, I'll do the update on him now, was the one from Ben Jacobs. So this was the one from earlier on, if you missed the show at midday. Manchester United are now in club-to-club talks with Brentford over Bryan Mbeumo. No bid yet. 50 million plus required, as Bryan Mbeumo has 1 year left on his deal, plus an option Brentford can trigger, alongside the 12 months left on his current deal, meaning they don't feel under pressure to sell. Now that was the report that I wrote, was talking about earlier on the midday video on the updates on Bryan Mbeumo, and the false news one, basically. That's what we're saying. So where we're at now, the latest this afternoon has come from The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell. And Laurie Whitwell has said that Brentford are expected to ask Manchester United to pay the same amount they paid for Matheus Cunha, 60 to 65 million. Brentford see Mbeumo in that bracket of player. Now, this has been pushed this afternoon as a negative on Manchester United struggling to get the Bryan Mbeumo deal done. Look, all you have to look at in this situation is Manchester United would have known this already. So no need to panic. No need to think that this is now being upped because Brentford, like some reporters are saying, are a bit miffed off at the way that this has gone public all of a sudden. They wanted to do it on their terms. I said last night, Manchester United will respect Brentford. They will go and communicate with them. Like's been said today, first contacts have officially been made. Bids will be ready in and first offers will be going in. There's been a few numbers being brandished around so far, but nothing definite just yet in terms of bids in. I feel like we will hear something in the next couple of days in terms of bids and values for Bryan Mbeumo. But people having a bit of a panic about this being 60 to 65 million. Another story came up earlier on, I think from Alex Crook, it was from TalkSport, saying that Manchester United are willing to pay the 250 grand a week wage demands of Bryan Mbeumo. It's totally false. You only have to look at the responses of reputable accounts that have gone onto that post that have shut that down. It's not 250 grand a week wages. It won't be 65 million. It won't be the same price as Matheus Cunha. This is just how transfers work. And let's be honest, if Brentford wanted 60 million for Bryan Mbeumo, you're going to pay it anyway. People made up this £50 million price tag that Brentford wanted for Bryan Mbeumo. That nobody was saying anything was official about it. We talked about it and we said, apparently there's a 50 million price tag on him and that's what someone's going to have to pay. He's had a fantastic second half of the season in which He has it record numbers for himself in the Premier League, 20 goals, 8 assists, and this was after that initial price that was floating around for 50 million was there. If he is 60 million, he's 60 million. He's still worth every single penny of that. Nobody should be panicking. Nobody should be worrying that this deal might come a cropper because the price has gone from 50 to 60. There was no 50 officially in the first place. He is worth 60 million if Matheus Cunha is worth 62. I think that's fair from Brentford. And the way that Manchester United have operated, they're looking at the value of the player and what he brings. And I think if you're going to accept 62.5 million without even batting an eyelid, then you're going to accept 60 million for Bryan Mbeumo. Same age, same qualities, different type of player, same experience, and everything just fits into place for Manchester United. He's worth that money. So no drama. The only thing is, and I've seen another report going on as well earlier on, I think it was from Ben Jacobs again, saying that Brentford are open to the structure of the payments as long as they get their value out of him. And again, that's where Manchester United are going to take advantage. Instalment payments, that is good for them because they are getting rid of players off the books and big wages are going. So instalment payments with players on reasonable wages, like we've discussed already, are exactly what Manchester United want to make happen this summer. If you think Manchester United could be releasing approximately 50 million a year in wages off the books and not even hitting nearly half of that in the players that are coming in, you can see where they can afford to make changes and actually bid for players on instalment. Because like we said before, if you want to buy a £100 million player who's on 200 grand a week wages, that will cost you in PSR 20 million a season for 5 years. That's what it works out at. Bryan Mbeumo at 60 million on less than that in terms of wages. Do the maths. It's not difficult for Manchester United. If a team are willing, like Wolves are, to ask for that higher price but take that in instalments, so they're still guaranteed the value that they want, but United get to spread the cost out and do it like a loan, that fits United's model, that fits the selling club's model, and this is why deals, I think, are going to be going forward differently with United from now on. Everything just seems to have moved a lot smoother with the new structure in place when it comes to transfers. The only issue is, like we said before, which does play into the Emiliano Martinez situation and bringing in the striker situation, how good are they at selling? How good are they at selling players? That's what the big question is going to be with this. I'm not concerned about Bryan Mbeumo. I'm not concerned about any player coming into Manchester United under this structure. The only thing I'm worried about is how we get rid of players. And that's the biggest thing in this transfer window for me. Beer courtesy of Kaz. Thank you, Kaz. Everyone say thank you, Kaz, in the chat, please. She doesn't like me mentioning her name when we're live, but thank you, Kaz. Right, let's get some comments in on this. First of all, we're talking Emiliano Martinez and we're talking Bryan Mbeumo's situation right now. I know that my community are not stressing about the Bryan Mbeumo. They've listened to everything that we've said and feel confident, don't you? I'm pretty certain you do anyway. Something definitely boiling this club in this summer, says Ellen. Something KS definitely boiling, KN a club this summer. I'm not sure what that actually means or stands for, but I get what you're saying. Something is definitely working right for us. Red Devil United, I got in early on the Gykeres train. Keep talking about him and it'll happen. Manifest it. Manifest the Victor Gykeres deal to Manchester United. That's what needs to happen. It does. I'm off to Portugal next month. I'll kidnap Gykeres and bring him back. I think it'll be done by then, Liam, to be honest, buddy. I really do think it will. Let's see what else we've got in here as well. Again, Ellen in. If Ineos are buying Cunha and Mbeumo, Gykeres, Martinez, and a midfielder and a right wing back at this window, I will never say anything bad about them again. I promise. Ooh. Do you know what? There's half a chance that might happen. I don't think it will. I think we'll miss out on the wing back because the midfield is a priority. I reckon it'll be 4. I reckon it'll be 4 players, 4 key players though. And that, I mean, the 9, the 2 10s and the 8. I reckon they'll definitely get done. And everything else is in the balance. Everything else is all pending on what Manchester United can do with sales, which is why I brought up the point. It is big that Manchester United do manage to get rid of players. That's the biggest challenge for Ineos this summer. 100% there is going to be, I think, a lot of negativity running United's way because of the deals. You can already feel it in the air with the Jadon Sancho situation, and that, I think, is where a lot of fans are waiting to bite when it comes to Manchester United. A lot of people are hiding their excitement at the moment, I feel, and what I've noticed. They don't want to give any credit to Manchester United at the moment, but like Ellen just said then, if United managed to make at least 4 or 5 of them positions with quality players happen this summer, you can't really argue with that. You can't, because they've done everything that was necessary. Let's see what happens with the outgoings. I do want to talk about this next, actually, because this is what I was saying before. Quickly though, we've had a super chat in from Block. Get you and the fam a holiday drink on me, mates. We're heading down to the same place where I broke the Bryan Mbeumo news from Ornstein. So we're going to the marina later on for our dinner. So that will definitely be spent, Block. Thank you very much, mates. I really appreciate that, buddy. I do need to get you a drink as well, though, mates. You're the one who keeps on buying all of the time. Spirit of Lakota says, offer short to the promoted teams or Wrexham with the Yanks and Birmingham winning the Super NFL legend Tom Brady, and maybe he will take a quick sell. Well, I don't know. I don't know where Luke Shaw is ever going to go. I don't know who would buy him, to be honest. I would cancel Luke Shaw's contract. That's what I would do. I would try and buy him out. If we had any spare change, I would use it to cancel Luke Shaw's contract and save on the wages. That's what I would do. Thank you for the super chat, Block, by the way. Love that, mate. Okay, moving on to my next bit of news. This is where I said earlier on, this is an interesting one. Now, this is as short a tweet as you're ever going to get, but the significance behind it carries a lot more. And this has come from Man United source. This is a page and a Twitter page. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. This is a Twitter page that I follow that has messaged me directly as well. We've had a few communications. Very, very reputable and has been on the money. Doesn't post a lot, isn't monetized, isn't looking for the big clickbait stuff. Only posts when there is significant news. And in the last hour, this has gone under the radar a little bit, so this is why I want to talk about it. But Man United source on X has said Barcelona contacted Manchester United for Marcus Rashford. Now, there were stories going around earlier on today that Marcus Rashford would take a significant pay cut. The sources were all Spanish media, European media, that was saying this, so I cannot say how reputable they are or how significantly reliable they are. I just feel like, again, it is them trying to push Marcus Rashford and Rashford trying to push himself across to Barcelona. We know that nobody else is going to be in for him because he doesn't want to go anywhere else. But Man United source have said, and these were the exact words, Barcelona contacted Manchester United for Marcus Rashford. Bang, done. Now that, you can say, is Manchester United and Barcelona in communication. It could be the loan. We're waiting for more details on it. All that will mean is that there is definite contacts between club to club on that one. Going off how reputable Man United source has been in the past and how he only posts when necessary and when it is significant. That, I think, is big for Manchester United because I think this is Barcelona looking at, personally for me, how I read this is, like I just said, the news today from UEFA is that Barcelona have just hit strike 2 on financial fair play. Now that could mean squad size being docked in terms of the punishments that are there and available. Squads could have a squad size reduction for the Champions League as punishment, or it could be points deduction in the league phase for Barcelona because of this second strike. I don't think there has been anybody else yet who has hit strike 2 in the new rules yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what UEFA do with Barcelona. So why I'm talking about Barcelona in this way is because of this story for Marcus Rashford. And Marcus Rashford actually wanting Barcelona, as we know. Barcelona not having a lot of money, having to draw the line. Maybe this is them struggling to go out and get the Luis Diaz deal that they want to get. Contacting Manchester United, I feel, in pure desperation, to try and get a loan for Marcus Rashford. Maybe there will be an obligation or option along it. I'm guessing and it's only my own thoughts guessing with this, but why would Barcelona contact Manchester United for Marcus Rashford? I think it is for the loan side of things. I can only think that is the case. They're not willing to pay for Marcus Rashford. They're not in a financial position to pay for Marcus Rashford unless significant outgoings happen this summer. I can't see them wanting to let go of Rafinha. Obviously, forget Yamal or anything like that happening. They've got a very, very young squad. They have just bought in, obviously, Juan Garcia from Espanyol. And I feel like now it's going to be what can they do in the transfer window that's going to be on the cheap. And I just feel like this is Marcus Rashford's and a loan offer coming in. Whether they'll incentivise it and put in, like I said, the option to buy, obligation to buy at the end of it, we will see how this develops. But I just got a feeling this is the structure of Barcelona's contact with Manchester United. If it is over Marcus Rashford, I can only see a loan. Because I know just from the reports alone and what the finance experts are saying, that Barcelona are up shit creek when it comes to money and finances. Yes, they're at the top level. They've won the domestic treble and they've won everything in Spain, came close in the Champions League. They have got money coming in through that, but they are still paying off the redevelopment of the new camp, and their finances weren't great before then either. So this, I think, is now, what do Manchester United do with Marcus Rashford? If he isn't going to be sold for the price that they want, do they take a cut price deal and just get rid and lose his wages, cut your losses? Or do they accept a loan, all of his wages may be paid, because he's willing to take a pay cut? So we will see, won't we? This, I feel, is where we're at with this Marcus Rashford situation now. And do you know what? It's actually good news, because it just means that things are actually happening and happening early. Because the last thing we need is this dragging on. I did read a report earlier on today about Marcus Rashford willing to drag this deal to get his dream move all the way to the end of the transfer window. We don't want him on tour with us. We don't want him in front of Ruben Amorim or putting Ruben in this position to have to deal with it. If there is an offer there, I think United might have to actually deal with it and take a cut price on him, because he's backed us into a corner. I just fear if he goes on loan, he might end up back at United because Ruben might not see the year out. I'm praying that Ruben does, so we don't have to deal with Marcus Rashford again. But let's just see on this one. I've ordered a drink on me and Sean, Adam and Kaz. Thank you very much for that, Andrew. Love that, buddy. That's drinks tonight, Kaz. We're okay. We're being sorted by the chat completely. It's going well at the moment. Andreas with another super chat says, Rashford isn't Barcelona quality. Hope they buy him. Look, as long as he's gone and he's off our books, I don't really care where he goes, to be honest, mate. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. London gifted a membership as well. Thank you, buddy. Love that. Let's move on to the next topic, which is Jadon Sancho. Now, drink for this one. Actually, just in case, because there's a few people who have just joined us, going over the top two headlines were Emiliano Martinez will be sold by Aston Villa. Manchester United want him and will go for him if they can afford him at the end of this window or any point in this window. That was the news from Ben Jacobs early on. Aston Villa have fallen short of financial fair play with UEFA and do need to sell. And the word is that they will sell this summer. So let's just keep our ears to the ground with that one as it goes. But obviously, as you'd expect, I am 100% on board with this. I have put a poll up on Emiliano Martinez. If you are watching later on, do get involved. But I asked a simple question. Do we go all in on Emiliano Martinez? I should have really explained a little bit more on that. Say, for instance, he's 40 million. Would you go in on that? 83% of you out of 2,000 votes have said, yes, you would go all in on Emiliano Martinez this summer. Now that, I think, is massively significant. I think that tells you the whole picture of what Manchester United fans, particularly the ones watching on this show tonight, feel Manchester United need the most this summer. And that, I think, is key. Our other story was, obviously, Bryan Mbeumo, the update on him. Laurie Whitwell's come out later this afternoon saying that it's expected Brentford will ask between 60 and 65 million for Mbeumo. I don't really see the issue in that. I think he's worth every single penny of it. Some people are trying to drive that as Manchester United being overcharged because there was a 50 million price that was just made up from January that apparently Brentford were asking for originally. How do we know? There's been nothing official, nothing significant to say that that was the case. So we're in the guessing game again, everybody, I'm afraid. But for definite, Manchester United would value him around that price anyway, particularly if you're looking at what they did with Matheus Cunha. And he is, on paper, a better player than Cunha. So, yeah, 60-65 is not a problem. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United have been contacted by Barcelona for Marcus Rashford now. That is something that I've brought up as well tonight. So that's your other headline. Andreas in the super chat, exchange Rashford for De Jong. Please take Sancho too. You're living in that dream world again. I see what you're saying, though. It's clever. It's imaginative. Can we not do instalments like how we buy players rather than cut price for Rashford? Well, it goes off. This is the thing. The rest of Europe work with the squad ratio rule, which is kicking into gear for Manchester United in the Premier League and everyone else in the Premier League next season. Not the season coming up, the one after. So 26-27, it's going to be squad ratio rule. There are very few clubs that have a good squad ratio rule, squad ratio score when it comes to the big hitters in the Premier League. United have an outstanding one. So if we can manage to get through this window well, then United's score going into this transfer window after will be amazing, especially if we get rid of the players we're supposed to be getting rid of this summer. We're already, with them players on the books, 18th in the Premier League when it comes to squad ratio to the revenue coming in with the club, which is how much revenue you make and how much of that is used to pay for wages. Manchester United is extremely low because we have absolutely mega revenues, which we've always had at our disposal. Obviously, the debt has killed us and the poor management of Manchester United has killed us in that department, but we will be in a good place with that going forward. So this, I think, is very important. I don't think we can always do, I don't think everybody else, can always do this, the instalment packages. I don't think it works for every club, but it does for United anyway. Adam, I watch most United channels, but you have become top tier. Cut through the crap and look forward to your shows, mate. Keep up the great work, dude. Thank you, Smelts, for that. Smelts Herring, pretty certain I said that right there. Apologies if I didn't, buddy. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. That's a great comment, along with a super chat as well. I love that, and I love comments like that, bigging up the channel as well. We have obviously seen massive growth over the last month. Actually, it's been mega numbers, and we are now flying up to our target before the start of the season, which is 90k subscribers. We were well over 81 already, and we only just passed 80 the other day. So it's amazing. So please keep subscribing if you're loving the content and the updates, and make sure that you do hit that like button as well. Sancho, let's get into it. Jadon, you absolute melt. No, sorry, thinking in my own head there. Right. Moving on to Jadon Sancho, everybody, and the story that came out earlier on today. He seems to be popular. Rudy Galletti has come out and said Napoli, AC Milan, Aston Villa are among the clubs that are keeping a close eye on Jadon Sancho. Jadon is expected to leave Manchester United during the summer as part of big changes they want to make to their squad. So Rudy Galletti is saying that Napoli, AC Milan and Aston Villa. There are 3 Saudi Pro League teams as well also in for Jadon Sancho. It's that cheap price. 25 million for a Premier League player. You can argue the quality. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm just going to look at it as I would on the books and how other teams would look at him. Forget about my red-tinted hate glasses for Jadon Sancho, which are very red with rage with this guy. But how other clubs would look at it. Do Aston Villa feel like 25 million instead of 40 million for Rashford, and Rashford not even want to go there, not even wanting to go there, sorry, is better for them? Will he fit in? A cheap forward who is still young enough. His wages are not going to be as much as what Marcus Rashford wanted. His numbers in the Premier League are better than Marcus Rashford last season. I don't know, maybe Emery thinks he can get something out of him. AC Milan, obviously he's got a good record in Europe. I don't know about Italy though, obviously doing well in Germany. People would see over there that he's done well at Dortmund. He's done well at Chelsea this season when you look at his numbers. Maybe he is worth 25 million to somebody. So yeah, again, the Italian clubs that can see that. Napoli can afford them wages. I think Aston Villa can afford them wages. So there is a little bit of clout in that story and in that headline. So I do think that there is a possibility that we could be seeing the back of Jadon Sancho even after the negative news about him being sent back. And again, I'll just say it one more time. How bad must you be for a club to pay 5 million to not have you? I've seen that said so many times. It hits the mark, doesn't it? It really does hit the mark. And I still can't get over how, oh man, no, it will stress me out. I'm not going to do it. Drink a beer and move on from Jadon Sancho. But I'll tell you what, get your comments in anyway on Jadon Sancho. Just to, where do you think he will actually go? That's a great question to actually ask the chat. Where do you think Jadon will go? That is something that I feel there's going to be some imaginative ones here right now, I think, going into this. I want Sancho gone, but we have to blame the club because of the wages that we give to him as well as Rashford. They've made their bed, and now the club is suffering, trying to move them on. Casemiro as well. Yeah, Rashford, Antony, Casemiro, Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho, all of them on too much money. And that is Man United's fault. It isn't the current structure's fault, because they weren't in place. And that's what I will say to defend the people that are working there now, and they're trying to fix it. Just to be balanced, they are the facts. They're the ones that didn't give them deals. And looking at the business that United had done with the new management team in place, there was no chance that they would ever be spending that amount of money on wages for anyone like that, or players like that at Manchester United. That would be a definite no-no, I feel, anyway. But you do have to blame the club. Sancho and Emiliano Martinez swap. Great comment on that one. Get him out of here. If Unai Emery wants him, yeah, there you go. There's Sancho. Give us Emiliano Martinez. You've got your forward. You've probably got a reserve keeper that can come in. I think they would want more for Emiliano Martinez than what Jadon Sancho's worth, though. But I still wouldn't mind using Sancho as a bit of a make weight and getting that deal done, put a bit of cash on top of Jadon Sancho. I would take that all day long. Let's do it. Let's make that happen, I say. Happy to make that happen and invest that money into Emiliano Martinez with Sancho gone. That's what we need to do. We need to be clever in the transfer window. We need to make these things happen for us. So, yeah, all on board with that one as well. In terms of Rasmus Hjlund, that's my next bit of news, which is, again, quite significant in a couple of ways. First of all, there was a story earlier on today on Rasmus Hjlund, which read, Inter Milan, Napoli and Juventus are all interested in signing Rasmus Hjlund this summer. United want a permanent deal. The interest is there, but the Italian clubs plan to wait and see if United soften their position in the coming weeks. Ideally, they would like a loan with option or obligation. We spoke about that yesterday as well from the Juventus side of things. They have made contact. A next report came out, finding a new club for Rasmus Hjlund. This was a bit later in the afternoon. Finding the club for Rasmus Hjlund is being set to a priority status for the moment. Manchester United are seeking a straight sale, but may have to become open to an initial loan. This is exactly what I expected. It really is. Like that, I don't think is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody. I don't. I feel it's going to be, I think, personally, Manchester United, loan, option to buy, happy to see Rasmus develop some more, see if he becomes good enough to come back into Man United's side. If he does become good enough to come back into Manchester United's side, then that means that the club that have got him on loan, I've probably got more out of him and might want to buy him anyway. So we'll be stuck in a better situation than where we are now, where we've got a striker that just can't hit a cow's ass with a banjo, is absolutely useless in front of goal and has completely lost everything that we bought when he first came into United. So yeah, I do think that this is a significant move for Manchester United this summer, and will make a statement that we're not willing to just cling on to an investment because we spent a lot of money on him. We're looking to look what fits Ruben Amorim's system, and Rasmus clearly doesn't and isn't good enough. So that's why the importance of Manchester United chasing Victor Gykeres down goes up, and goes up even more, I feel. News just in from the Times, Matt Lawton of the Times, that Sir David Brailsford will step back from his role at Manchester United. So that's Jean-Claude Blanc and now Sir David Brailsford stepping back. There's a lot of changing behind the scenes at Manchester United, isn't there? Like, do they feel like they don't need Sir David Brailsford in there? Like, seriously, it's Jean-Claude Blanc with his connections, then Sir David Brailsford with his and what he brings. All of a sudden, Manchester United are getting rid of all of these staff. Like, that's Jean-Claude Blanc, that's Brailsford, that's Dan Ashworth. So the dream team that started has gone, basically. And now we're looking at a completely different setup, it would seem, behind the scenes. Make what you want of that. But honestly, right now, I just want people that know football working at Manchester United. And I know there are people there. Let's get through a few more super chats on that news that we've just gone through. Andreas says, thank you again, mate. Popular, question mark. I'm calling it a bull, worst attitude ever. I will unplug his live support to charge my phone. Fits in Sunday League. I'm pretty certain you mean Jadon Sancho on that one, mate. Slightly harsh, but I get your anger. Maybe not them. Maybe not that bad. Like, go and play football somewhere else probably is what you really mean there, but I do understand that you don't like him. Stephen says, Adam, how many outgoing loans can a club make? Surely not all of Anthony Sancho and Rashford can gamble on being loaned out. See, the thing is with Jadon Sancho, going into his last year, I'm pretty certain the rule states you cannot loan a player entering the last year of his contracts. So you can't even do anything with Sancho this summer. It's off the table. Now, you can do, I'm not even sure what the number is. There is a cap on how many players you can loan out. But Sancho, you can't loan back out because he's in the last year of his deal. So I think that's going to be there. Look, I may be wrong with that, with the Sancho one, but that's how I've read it before. So United won't be loaning Sancho. They won't be loaning Antony. They both have to be sold. So if that leaves room to loan Rasmus, then I feel like that's where Manchester United will go. And I think it will be significant on that. Alex says, hi mates, if we do get all these players and ship the Deadwood out, we've got to give props to Ineos. Nice to see us doing stuff in the window early. We will have to give props to him. Obviously, it's still a big if, mate, but like what we've seen so far is a very, very good start. And the noises on players like Gykeres coming in, like we've talked about on top of this show, the Emiliano Martinez links to Manchester United. If you're making moves like that, then you really are moving, and you're moving fast. And that's get up off your seat signings, not crap potential, ready-made, ready to go. That will be Gykeres ready, Mbeumo, Cunha ready, Emiliano Martinez ready. If you bring in an 8, and I don't know who the 8 is going to be, I don't think there's anyone in the Premier League United could go and get of significance unless it's someone like Adam Wharton. That would be a absolute world-beating signing for Manchester United. Things like that we can only dream of unless Manchester United do, in fact, make significant sales this summer. So Sancho has to be sold outright. So too will Rashford. So too will Antony. Obviously, you've got to get rid of Malacia as well. What can you get for them? You're well over 100 million for them players, which helps Manchester United. Then you look at maybe selling the goalkeepers. And who else have you got there? Rasmus Hjlund, I don't think we can sell him. A decision will have to be made on Garnacho and Mainu as well. So there is room there. If United get at it and United get busy, we can definitely make significant signings. It's going to be a case of how much they get for the players that they're selling. Are they just looking to clear the books, or are they looking to make significant profits on these players? Because I don't think there's going to be much profit in Manchester United's squad, apart from the likes of maybe Garnacho, Kobe Mainu, players like this. They're the only ones, I feel. It is a bit of a joke, live support that is, but Sancho has to leave. Yeah, I got you, mate. Don't worry, Andreas. Thanks for the super again, mate. Nearly at 600 live likes, everybody. Thank you so much again for all your likes. If you haven't already, please do give the video a like. We've been over 2,500 in the room throughout, pretty much. So again, another absolute monster stream from everyone. Great attempts from you all as well. In the comment section, some brilliant comments. I would honestly give Sancho one last go until the end of his contract. If you can't sell, he seems to fit a new system, a good impact sub. No. I get what you're saying, Jordan. I do. But he isn't fitting in with Ruben Amorim. The decision at the club, from what I've been told, has already been made. And that, I think, is that Jadon Sancho has got no place at Manchester United. And I think that's right. I think that's fair. He's had his time. He's had his chance. I don't think anybody at the club is willing to give him another one. I don't think there's any Manchester United fan, really, that would be concerned if he left the football club. Let's just say that anyway. Okay, everybody, that is your evening update all wrapped up and done. Absolutely brilliant. Loads of topics to get through there, everyone. Loads of comments from you all. Please do get into the comments section after the live is finished. That is also really important. I do like to look through some of the comments later on. Some of them do make me laugh. Some of them are bang on point as well. So get piling in there with them, please, everyone. Give the video a like on the way out. More importantly, hit that subscribe button as well. Make sure you hit the bell notification. And you will stay up to date with everything going on at Manchester United. So get at it, everyone. And that is us all done. I'm going to go and have my dinner. Go and enjoy my last night, actually, here in Lanzarote. So, yeah, I'm going to go out, nice meal, a few drinks, and I'll see you all bright and early in the morning. I'm praying that there isn't anything that breaks tonight and I have to jump out of another meal on the marina, but we will see, won't we? You never know with United. Cheers, everybody. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the morning. Cheers, mods, by the way. Great job again. Almost forgot. But